Rahul Gandhi says weird stuff. Most of the things Rahul Gandhi says doesn't make sense to the Congress. So it's not that UK is not giving technology. UK is saying take it. India is saying okay, we will. They're just working out. So engines are the holy grail of transfer of technology as far as weapon platforms are concerned. Jai Hind, friends. I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Mr. Rajnath Singh, India's Defence Minister, very recently he was travelling and people asked him about what is happening between India and China regarding the dispute along the line of actual control, and he made some very plain comments. He said that they're progressing smoothly. The discussions between India and China, they're going on track, and he expressed hope that the issue between India and China, especially the boundary issue, the border issue, would be resolved. But he said that India is not one to bend or bow down. Or this is not the India of old. And a lot of politicians from the ruling BJP have been saying this, and a lot of Indians also feel this. This is not the India of 1962. We're willing to talk to China. We're willing to negotiate. We're willing to compromise, but the compromise will not be based on what our land is. I mean, we can't compromise on our land. We cannot compromise on our self-respect. Otherwise, whatever else apart from this China wants to negotiate, we're happy to do that. See, in the end, if you have to find a solution to a problem, you must be willing to negotiate on a few issues. So, number one, our land and self-respect. The land of India, self-respect of India. Rest everything, I think, India will say that, okay, no problem. And but over a period of time, my friends, India has been telling China that let's sit on the table and let's thrash out this whole issue of the line of actual control. And China has been procrastinating, and China has been saying that we don't want to do it. Now, this line of actual control is more than 3,500 kilometers long. It's really, really long. It's spread over states and union territories. It's really long, right? And this entire conflict between India and China is going on over for more than 65, 70 years. There have been arguments, there have been wars, there have been conflicts, there have been skirmishes, and we've seen everything in this relationship with China. And there have been long periods of peace also, which was essentially deception on the Chinese part, and essentially the Chinese said that we are friends and we don't want to fight, and China was shoring up its economy, was building up its economy. But later on, China showed its true colors and China attacked. You're all aware of what happened in Galwan. So this is exactly what Mr. Rajnath Singh, the Honorable Defence Minister of India, said, that we will talk to China and we want good relations with China, but India, will not bend, India will not bow down. This is not the old India. So this is what he said, and I'm happy to hear the words of the Raksha Mantri, unequivocal and very, very clear on India's position regarding the line of actual control. And he expressed confidence, I'm talking about the Defence Minister, expressed confidence in India's defence exports, which surpassed 21,000 crore in the financial year 23-24 and are expected to rise. Further, he noted the significant growth in defence exports since 2014, highlighting the government's dedication to promoting indigenous defence production. So 21,000 crore, right? Which is about quarter to 3 billion. 2.5 quarter to 3 billion US dollars worth of exports, which was almost nothing in 2014 when Prime Minister Modi came to power. And from 25-26, that is 2025-2026, this is expected to go up to $5 billion per year, and from there it can only grow. He also said, that regarding what Rahul Gandhi has been saying for a very, very long time. I don't know. I disagree with the government's, the tactic of responding to Rahul Gandhi. He said that India is no longer a weak country and India has become a powerful country from a military point of view, etc. And he said, when asked about Congress leader Rahul Gandhi's assertion against the Narendra Modi, Rahul Gandhi will say weird things, yeah. And I don't think it reflects well on Mr. Rajnath Singh. He's a very senior politician. He spent his entire life in office. He served the country with a great deal of honor and sincerity. And I don't think he should go on responding to, Rahul Gandhi says weird stuff. Most of the things Rahul Gandhi says doesn't make sense to the Congress. They just want political mileage derived out of it, but they cannot derive political mileage simply because it does not make sense. I mean, you can do propaganda, why not? Why not? You can do propaganda, but even propaganda has to have a 1%, core of truth. And then you can build, even in the worst form of propaganda, if you have 1%, then you can build 99%. In Rahul Gandhi's case, it's just missing. He'll just give random statements like the Chinese have taken over Ladakh, and next day say, no, they have taken over 1,500 or 2,000 square kilometers of Ladakhi territory. Leaving everybody confused. I mean, which part of Ladakh has China taken away from India? Nobody knows except for Mr. Rahul Gandhi, and he's never been to Ladakh, at least not very recently. He did go, I think, he met a few Congress people there and they told him some funny stories. And he's been repeating those funny stories. So I don't think you should respond, because what Rahul Gandhi says stays on social media. What the Defense Minister of India says, it goes abroad. And when you try to defend a position, people who are inimical to India's interest will say, oh, there must be something which is why the Raksha Mantri is defending. I don't think Rahul Gandhi needs to be taken seriously at all. He's just a waste of time. He said in 2014, we exported 600 crore defense items, rupees 600 crores worth of defense items, but now it has crossed 21,000 crores. So you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the exponential growth in 10 years from 600 crores to 21,000 crores. This is a massive, massive leap. Now, we have another news about UK and India, and all this is defense-related news, and UK and India are partnering regarding the development of an electric propulsion system in India for domestic warships. India is making about more than 50 domestic warships, and all these things, including their aircraft carrier, which was made. In fact, the third aircraft carrier is being made in India. You're making nuclear submarines in India. You're making everything in India. Nothing is imported now, and the Navy is going all out and supporting Atmanirbhar Bharat. And in this, we are tying up with the UK, and so this is the deal, that Indian warships are powered by diesel engines, gas turbines or steam turbines. But electric propulsion capability aims to power larger warships with a displacement of over 6,000 tons. So 6,000 tons is easily a destroyer, right? Like a INS Kochi, for example, right? Just an example, INS Kochi. I'm saying Kochi because I've been on INS Kochi. So tomorrow you might have a electric propulsion system which can propel a ship of this size. And Kochi is a very, very powerful ship. I'm not just talking from the point of view of its engine, but also the entire ship as a weapons platform. It's a solid platform. And this is what we are saying, that Indian officials are examining the proposal, and once accepted, the agreement's details, including training, equipment and infrastructure, will be finalized. And this is between UK's GE power conversion, General Electric Power Conversion, and India's Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, BHEL. An integrated full electrical propulsion system is what India is aiming for, ladies and gentlemen. A full propulsion electrical propulsion system, and a similar system. If this deal comes through, and UK has given a proposal to India, now India will accept, and then they'll work out the modalities. What are the technology, what are the price, etc., etc. It's a long process, but. UK Royal Navy's Queen Elizabeth class aircraft carriers. So this is the same system that is being used in the Queen Elizabeth class aircraft carriers of the UK Navy. So if this system comes to India, and if it's good enough to be used in an aircraft carrier, then certainly it's good enough to be used in a destroyer. And I don't know, I don't have the exact technical know-how that only a Navy person will be able to tell you, but engines are the holy grail. So engines are the holy grail of transfer of technology as far as weapon platforms are concerned, metallurgy, engines. These are the big ticket items. And today, if you're saying that, hey, we are going to manufacture this in India, and there's going to be complete transfer of GE technology. One GE technology transfer took place for those aircraft engines when Prime Minister Modi went to meet President Joe Biden in the US. They met in Washington and they agreed. And then France said that we will completely TOT, or transfer of technology, for the Safran engines. So this is the third engine. And so it's engines galore. The other two were for the Air Force. This one is for the Navy. And even the Air Force engines, the G and the Safran engines to be used for the Air Force can be used in the Navy, because Navy also has fixed wing aircraft. And discussions on this development saw significant progress during the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh's visit to UK in January, with subsequent talks at various levels. Both countries have established joint electronic propulsion working group. So there is a working group which has been established, and over a period of time, both countries say that they want to take the deal forward. So it's not that UK is not giving technology. UK is saying take it. India is saying, okay, we will. They're just working out the modalities. And in good news, the Indian Navy assisted a Panama-flagged crude oil tanker, MV Andromeda Star, which came under missile attack from Houthi militants. So the Houthis and INS Kochi. I didn't know this. This brings me so much of happiness. INS Kochi. I spent almost 5 days on INS Kochi, and when I was mentioning INS Kochi earlier, I did not know that this was the ship, but I almost feel a part of this ship, because I knew the captain, I knew the crew, and we spent almost 5 odd days together. We were shooting on INS Kochi, and gives me so much of pleasure seeing this name in print. And as usual, in the topmost professional standards of the Indian Navy, INS Kochi promptly responded to the attack, ensuring safety of all 30 crew members, including 22 Indians. This must be a matter of great pride. It's a matter of great pride for us, but especially for those 22 Indians when they saw, or when they would have seen, an Indian destroyer coming towards them. They would be breathing sighs of relief, This is INS Kochi. By the way, I'll tell you a small story from INS Kochi. There was an officer and he was briefing me, and this is all on camera, you can see it. And I asked him that, you say there are BrahMos missiles on Kochi. We were standing, on the deck, and we're just standing like this, we're chatting, and this is Mumbai, a couple of years back. And I just asked the officer that, you said that there are BrahMos missiles, but I can't see them. Where have you hidden those BrahMos missiles? Where are the BrahMos missiles on INS Kochi? And he said, sir, look down. And I looked down, and I was standing on these iron flaps. I don't know what to call them. They were like these clamped down things. And he says, you're standing on top of a BrahMos missile. And that gave me goosebumps. And for a second, I thought, what am I doing here? And he said, no, it's absolutely safe. Don't worry. You can walk wherever you want. And just under your feet, there are BrahMos missiles. So this is that ship I was talking about, INS Kochi. And the Indian Navy on X, previously Twitter, wrote, a mission-deployed Indian naval destroyer INS Kochi responded to a maritime security incident involving attack on a Panama-flagged crude oil tanker MV Andromeda Star. PM. This is 26 April 24. And matter of great happiness, at least for me, because I think I share some sort of a bond with that ship. And fantastic job. So, in short, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Defence Minister telling people that, what our exports have become from 600 crores in 2014 to 21,000 crores, going up to $5 billion in the next 2 years. That is one. Second thing is, regarding China, things are progressing smoothly, but India is not going to compromise. In terms of our land, absolutely not. In terms of our self-respect, perish the thought. The rest of the things we can talk about, there is no problem. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'll take some questions. The first question is from Mishika Yadav. Meshi. Jain Major Sahab, my question is, why do you think about Trump's team making policies to punish country of BRICS for de-dollarization? What do you think about Trump's team? See, de-dollarization is something that hurts America. And America will try and exert pressure. Not that America can exert pressure, because it is one thing to say stuff and the other thing to do stuff. So, there are some policies of Trump that I support, and there are some policies of Trump that I don't. And I don't think Trump is going to be able to push his way through. What's he going to do if two countries say that we don't want to deal in dollars? What are you going to do? Fire a missile? I don't think so. Parth Popat. Namaste Gaurav ji, Namaste Parth ji. Ever since India has disagreed with certain ideas within BRICS and SCO, for example, joint currency, many channels across the globe think India should be kicked out of these groupings. Do you think many people, especially the West, don't know what a map is? Are the youth there only a tool to use every few years for elections? Jai Hind. I don't know. I don't know about this. I'm not aware about this, that India... See, what channels think about India is not how, media people have an inflated sense of importance. And this is everywhere, not just in India. Across the world, media people think that they matter. That is the biggest problem with media everywhere. They actually think that they matter. No, they don't. They're just reporting stuff. They're just reporting stuff. It's like, this happened and I'm telling you this. This happened and I'm telling you. That's okay. As a source or a via media for information, it's absolutely fine. But I don't think it's in media's place to say that India should be part of a grouping or not. That is for India to decide finally. And Jagdish ji says, is it believable that Russia will be a threat to EU? Yes. Yes. If you keep pushing NATO and if you keep threatening Russia, Russia will come after EU. And what the French president said almost 4-5 days back is something that entire European Union should consider. From an external threat probability, and also what I said regarding that what EU faces today is an internal threat, especially from illegal immigrants. I think threat is not just Russia-based. Russia is one part that you have asked, but there are also threats to EU from inside EU. And if you ask me, I'll tell you that those threats are far bigger than the Russians. You can fight. You can win, you can lose. That's another point. That's another point. EU can fight Russia, whether Russia wins or Russia loses. EU wins or loses, that's, a discussion for another day. But the main thing you should never forget is that, you see, what happens to threats from within? Where you have demonstrators, where you have political agents, where you have people from other countries who are paid, who are spies, and then who discredit your system from within. You see what is happening in the US universities. If anybody thinks that these are simply student protests, I'm sorry, you're wrong. So ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our channel, don't forget to press the bell icon. Jai Hind, Vande Matram, Bharat Mata ki Jai.